Today I'm talking to Kathryn Eriksen, who is a fellow Infinite Possibilities trainer. She's a really cool lady. I wish she lived around the corner from me because I'd have coffee with her like every second day. Kathryn's amazing and we relate on so many levels. She used to be a lawyer and now she does a whole lot of new, different, exciting things, which I'll let her talk about, including hosting a radio show and teaching the Infinite Possibilities program. She has it in online course version. And she's just got a really amazing take on life, and I love her book. So, hi, Kathryn.
Hi, Miriam. You are so sweet. I wish I could hug you right now. Virtual hug. Yeah.
Virtual hug. Do it. Cool. So I mentioned your book, and I'm going to get you to start there, please, because it's been a while since I read it, and it's beautiful. Like, it's this just beautiful story you can get lost in, but it's this amazing metaphor of this journey. So do you want to talk about the heart dancing concept and teaching?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. Yeah, Heart Dancing has been out for 2 years now, but it's one of those books that the story never gets old. And I wrote it to teach people these infinite possibility concepts, as well as other kind of time-space concepts, and that you can have a direct relationship with a higher being, whatever you call that entity, but it's all contained in a fictional story. So I'm glad to hear you say that you got caught up in the story, because the characters are very interesting and they go through a lot, and through that metamorphosis and evolution, hopefully the reader comes away with life lessons and ways to handle their own crises, handle their own difficulties in their life. So that's what Heart Dancing is all about. And it's become so much more than just the book. If I can go into that for just a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually, I see it as a way of life, because when you're living from your heart and listening to that music, you truly dance with life. You truly become more aligned with who you really are, as opposed to all the mind messages and the stories we make up about who we think we should be. So that's what Heart Dancing has become to me. And I've gathered quite a tribe. It's become a little bit of a movement on similar lines to your 1 in a million movement that we're talking about here. So I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's beautiful. And I love how you put it together in a story. And, it just feels like one of those stories that you downloaded. So
it was truly a download. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I've now had another download.
Oh, cool.
Call it that. I took one of the characters in the book in Heart Dancing and gave him his own book. And it's the dog, Avatar.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah. And so he now has his own book called Drop the Leash, Let Go of Your Past and Love in the Present. And for those of you listening, Avatar is a golden retriever, but he's so much more than that. And my idea for this new book is that dogs have so much to teach us about unconditional love, and about not, dogs don't forgive because they don't need to. We make a lot of stories up. We hold grudges. We get in that space where we're mad at someone and carry that conversation on in our head. And that's where a dog can teach us how to forgive. So that's what Drop the Leash is about.
That's beautiful. I love how you said that, dogs don't need to forgive because they don't hold the grudge in the first place.
Exactly.
Hello.
Have you ever thought about that? Watch your dog. If you accidentally step on his tail or don't pay attention to him, he's instantly back you are instantly back in his good graces as soon as you reconnect and, establish that relationship again. And that's the way we should be with each other. So I use dogs as kind of the metaphor, example, model of a way that we can live our lives in a more beautiful, well-loved, and connected place. So.
And do you know what just came to mind then when you were explaining that? It's because they never doubt that they are loved.
Exactly. That's it. Okay. Well, thank you, Miriam. My work is done.
All right. See you later. We'll talk another day.
Okay. No, that was it. You got it. That's it. But in case you do want to read the book,
But
it's available.
obviously we do need to read the book because we hold grudges, right? I don't know about you, but I hold grudges, and
Correct.
and then I tell myself I don't need to, and I have to work through it and process it. So this whole critical mind that we are blessed with, sometimes it's a bit of a curse, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. And especially when, like you, as with your past as an engineer and me with my training as a lawyer, that critical mind is developed to a very fine honed sense. And it's hard to turn it off sometimes.
Yeah, and look, that's actually something I'd love to talk to you about. I know we've talked about this in the past, but a lot of the women I work with, we joke about crossing over to the dark side because they're not necessarily from a spiritual background. They're not necessarily energy workers and that
Right.
kind of thing. A lot of them are just business women, or they may have been in corporate, or they're running, just a mainstream kind of business, but they're starting to switch on to this. Well, one, I want to do it with more of a feeling of purpose and soul. And then they realize that, hey, if I'm going to be looking inside of me, there's a whole lot there that I want to discover and keep playing with. So tell me about your journey and what were how did you go satisfying your own critical mind in that journey?
Right. Well, it actually was more moving into my heart and kind of telling my mind, you've had your turn. Now I need to get into my creative side. I need to, hone my intuition. I want to become more aware of energy, more aware of what's really going on underneath the surface. And there are so many books, so many podcasts, so many people out there doing that. I started this back in probably 10 years ago, and it was just an evolution. It's not, for me, it wasn't an overnight thing. It was what I call following the trail of breadcrumbs. My first set of books was Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And then that opened up doors to follow another thing. And then I went to another and then another. So it's whatever leads you and speaks to you that really you should follow, and listen to those, the intuition that if you read a sentence or read a book and it's zing, that's it. You've just ignited something, and see where that can take you, because there's so much more that people are holding themselves back from. And that's one of my passions, is to show people how much better and how much more expanded their life could be when they trust that intuition, and when they trust that knowingness, and not let their mind guide their actions.
Mm. And did you have an own internal kind of obstacle to get through in terms of now teaching it publicly and speaking about it, given that your background is very much, I've ticked all the boxes of society to be a fine upstanding citizen, but now, hey, guess what, this is me. Like, how was that process for you? Because I know for me that was a really big thing, right?
Yeah, no, it was a big thing for me. Getting up and standing and talking in front of people about spiritual matters, or some of these other kind of quantum physics, quantum mechanics. I mean, it's taken me years. First of all, because I wanted to be comfortable in my own knowledge. It's that whole expert thing. What are your credentials? Why are you saying this and not someone else? And I also wanted to live it myself, and know that that's what is true for me. It may not be true for you, but if I can explain it in a way and give you examples, and maybe through my books or whatever, open a window, just a crack, maybe you can find your own way in. So
Yeah.
it's been a process.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
was there a moment where you kind of went, stuff it, I'm just going for it?
Actually, when I published Heart Dancing, that was basically my stuff it, I'm going for it. And if somebody criticizes me, that's fine. There's a lot of other people that the message resonates with.
Exactly.
So yeah, when I hit that button on Amazon that published it live and it went out to the world, yeah, that was my stuff.
Yeah, I think a book is still one of the most amazing personal development tools. Like, you'll never grow as much as when you actually, it's not so much the writing the book, it's about the publishing the book and putting yourself out there so openly.
Well, and that as well, just from your own book. I mean, your book has helped so many people. and start their business and promote in a way that feels authentic and real, but still carries their own message. So your book is fabulous, and I'd have to agree with you. That's why so many people right now want to publish their own books. And I think it comes down to two basic needs that everyone has, and I had to recognize this about myself. It's the need to be seen and the need to be heard. And so when you see yourself and hear yourself and know and connect with that authentic self, and then bring that out to the world, that's where the evolution and the expansion and the growth comes from. And that certainly has been true for me, and I believe it's been true for you as well.
Absolutely. And when you're saying that, I just got massive shivers all up and down my spine, the need to be seen and the need to be heard, and to do it for yourself first.
Well, how can anybody else see or hear you if you don't see or hear yourself? And it took me many, many years to realize that. But now that's what I'm trying to do, is pull the curtain back, because as you know, we create our own reality. Yeah, and we do that from our thoughts and from our beliefs and emotions, and then the words and actions come out. So if you don't truly see and know yourself and know who you are and hear where your authenticity lies, your reality is not going to be what you think it should be or could be.
And something else that just came to my mind is you've got similar age children to myself, and so they would have seen your journey. How do you go with that? And do they roll their eyes at you like mine do and go, "Mum, don't preach at me again, I've heard it a million times"? Or how does that go?
Yeah, unfortunately I fall into that camp. My daughter's now 18, and she's well aware of what I do, and she has her own beliefs. And it's funny, she'll tell me, "Oh, don't say that again." But then 10 minutes later, she's doing exactly what I suggested. Yeah. So I just learned to let it go. She's an adult. She can choose, what she believes. But I do try to set a good example, obviously. And I know you do too.
Yeah, and I think that's all we can do, set a great example and allow them to, because it's a journey, right? So,
yes.
And that's the thing I'm really working on making peace with in myself, that it's not about having a perfect life and having whatever you want instantly served up on a platter. It's actually about that evolution and that process and the contrast, and learning that, when you've got stuff happening that you don't want or you don't like, that's your opportunity to get really clear on what you do want and focus on that. And so you learn over time that, well, the more I focus on the bit I don't want, the more of it I get. So, hey, how about we try this over here and not stay stuck in the crap for too long.
Right.
And you start working out that, yeah, that's a much more pleasant, pleasurable way. And then you get to that stage where then when the contrasty stuff happens, you literally go, awesome.
I love the way you described that. I saw a Facebook post I'm happy to send to you that basically said the same thing, but it said, what happened, how would your life be if you could see everything that's ever happened to you as the thing that you needed at that point in time to become who you are now? And it's said much more eloquently and beautifully than I just summarized it. But when you start looking at your life that way, again, forgiveness. You may need to forgive yourself for how much you've held against other people. You may need to forgive your own misinterpretation. But in the end, if you see everything as being beneficial to you, there is no need for forgiveness.
Yep, that's right. So it's all good.
Like a dog.
It's all good, right?
No, I'm certainly not there yet. I have so much work that I'm still doing on myself, and probably will be doing until the very end. But I think that's the point of life, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And once you make your peace with that, you go, well, you know what? I'm already there. Like, this is what it's about. Yeah. This is what I'm doing. So just enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. And enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ups and downs, because it's all part of it.
it's really amazing. Like, we had this really interesting conversation at, we were just at Solarpalooza together, you and I, last month. And I had this really interesting conversation with a couple of the other Infinite Possibilities trainers that have done, oh, God knows how many, conferences now. And we made the comment, and we agreed that now when we go to the Come As Your Future Self party, where, you can dress up and arrive that night as the person you want to be in 5 years' time, and we role play, and it's like this really cool, fun night. But nowadays, we really just go, do you know what? I'm so happy as I am, and I just want to keep seeing what's next and let it come to me, rather than sort of plan it and try to grab at it and make it happen. So you start sort of, I was going to say creating in reverse. I don't know if that's the right term, but just rather than, reaching for, just allowing it to come to you.
That is such a great idea.
And it's like, I just want more of this. Like, I just want more of feeling great and seeing what cool things come next and what else is lined up for me. And it just takes all that longing and yearning and all those sorts of emotions out of it. So it's a cool place of the journey to be on.
And you realize when you approach life the way you just described, you're truly living in the present moment. You're not waiting for this person or that thing or that job to happen before you're happy. You're happy right now, and you expect more happiness. Yeah.
Totally. As happy as I can possibly manage to be. And, we're sitting here talking like a couple of yogis or semi-enlightened beings. And I thought, but I still yelled at my kids like a couple of days ago, and I argued with my husband. Like, I'm still human, but that stuff it passes over, and you go, great contrast. I'm even more clear now that I want a happy, loving relationship and good communication and all that stuff, So things just matter a little bit less, those things. Right. Yeah. It's beautiful.
No, I love that. That's a great philosophy, great way to live.
Cool. So, I think that having Avatar have his own book to be the teacher on your part, I think that's a stroke of genius, because honestly, if we could just listen to our pets and see how they live and approach life, we would really metamorphosize our own.
Right. Well, there's so much that we don't know. We assume because they don't speak a language, dogs in particular, that, they're just an animal and they're just there for us to feed and, walk. But when you start looking at them and watching and modeling their behavior, there's a lot more to them.
There's a lot going on. So when's that book coming out?
It's available right now
cool.
as an ebook as a Kindle ebook.
Beautiful.
Or you can go to my website and it's a downloadable PDF.
Cool. So just give us your website again and tell us the name of the book. I will put this in the notes, but just...
Right. It's called Drop the Leash, Leash, and you'll recognize the cover because it has a golden retriever holding a leash like that. And of course the title is Drop the Leash because we hold on to our past, but dogs don't.
Perfect.
So to live that full free life, it's time to, let go of those old stories that are holding you back. My website is KathrynEriksen.com, and it's spelled Kathryn, and then Eriksen is ERIKSEN.com. The easiest way to find it, though, is just go on Amazon and type in the search bar, Drop the Leash.
Yeah.
And it'll pop right up.
Easy. Beautiful. I can't wait to read it. I look forward to, the next chapter, because I was a bit sad when I finished reading your book.
Well, and you'll be surprised. There's a surprise in there for people who've already read Heart Dancing, because it ties back into it.
Awesome.
So I don't want to blow the surprise, but now you're going to have to read it.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely reading it now, and I'm embracing Kindle. Like I'm still a real physical book person, but I'm starting to embrace Kindle because all these books that I want to buy, and my bookshelf's exploding, and when you travel and so on, it's just great to have the Kindle. So yes, I will download it and enjoy it.
And I am working on getting that available in a paperback, which I hope to have done in the next 5 to 10 days. But right now it's just Kindle.
Cool. All right. Well, I can't wait to read Drop the Leash. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that we had an excuse where we could actually catch up for a chat. And as a bonus, I got to share you with everybody else. So have an awesome day, and I'll catch you again soon.
All right. Thank you so much. You're the best. I love you.
Bye.